Well, welcome, 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 welcome. I want to welcome you guys to Up Close and Personal with Angela on tonight. Y'all, we are celebrating Black History here on the Crew Podcast, y'all. For those that do not know who I am the visionary of the Crew Podcast. I am the visionary of Aspiring Authors Magazine, and I just desire to be the change that I want to see in this world. And I am so excited because on tonight, we have some amazing authors. They have taken the opportunity to utilize their gifts and their talents to really be a voice and to be an outlet. So I'm excited tonight to allow them to be able to share and to share what legacy is to them and how they are leaving their blueprint. And really, we're going to talk about Black history and what that means and look like to us. So I'm going to move on out the way because y'all know how I can get. So I'm going to move on out the way and I'm going to allow my first amazing author to come on up and introduce herself. And let me find her because y'all know I got some graphics. Y'all know I got some stuff. Y'all know I'm so grateful for this new platform. Shout out to, I ain't gonna mess up their name, but shout out to them because I love how we can just play with the little graphics. It won't let me do it right now, but it's coming. It's got somebody else up on the screen, yeah. But those be those blooper moments, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna show that at the end of the season when that happened. But we gonna have fun right now while it's happening, because you know what? Because we just talked about this adapting. We just talked about it, and I tell you, never it don't take long before it come. It come right back. It bite me in the face. But here it is. Here she come. She coming, y'all. She coming. Trust me. She coming. She coming. She coming. She coming. And y'all, when y'all see her, y'all gonna be like, "Oh, it was worth it. It was worth it. It was worth it. It was worth it." And here she comes, y'all.
Welcome. Thank you so much for having me. I am wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Happy Black History Month.
For to have you here and being a voice, because for so long they have silenced us and they have not allowed us to be a voice. So I want you to allow those that are tuned in and those that will hear the replay to know a little bit about Miss Natalie.
Well, my name is Natalie R. Murphy. The R stands for Romance Junkie. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. By my name, I you can guess that I am a romance writer. I'm an award-winning romance writer, and I started my journey back during the pandemic. It was not a plan that I would be on this journey, but God gave me this idea for a story, and He told me to write the story, and I told Him no, and I gave Him every reason why I couldn't, and I fought for about 3 weeks, telling God I was not going to write this story. And I told him because I don't know anything about writing a full story. I've always been a writer. I've always liked writing poetry and short stories, but I knew nothing about publishing. I didn't know how much it was going to cost. I didn't know anything about literary agents, things like that. And my girlfriend read my manuscript and she said, Nat, you got to do something with this. So I was like, okay. And then my mom and my sister read, and they're like, this is good. You got to do something. So I decided to do my research. And through doing my research, I self published my first romance novel. Then came You, and it won a Distinguished Authors Guild Award. And I tell people that that battle that I tried to have with God was the best battle that I ever lost, because since then, I've not only won Distinguished Authors Guild Award, the first for my first book, four of my books have won Distinguished Authors Guild Awards, and I am currently a Distinguished Authors Guild brand ambassador. So I'm excited about that position this year because this will be my fifth year with Dad, and it's been an amazing journey. If you are an author and you're looking to take your book to the next level, you need to join the Distinguished Authors Guild because Gina Gadsden has created something amazing for us African American authors. And I just, like I said, it's been such an amazing journey. I've met so many people, so many authors, so many publishers, and things like that. And it's just been an amazing, amazing ride. And I'm gonna tell you, if God tells you to do something, just do it. Just do it. No sense in fighting. You can't beat him. He's always got a better plan than we do. And so yeah, so I'm very excited about this. February is my month because it's a month of love, and me being the romance junkie that I am, I'm all into it. And my romance novels at this point, I have 7, and I just released a new book. Now, this one's not a romance novel, but it's a romance guide, and it's called "Make Room for Romance." A uh, sorry, a flirty guide to play and passion. And this book gives you ideas on how to make your romance steamy. Because as African Americans, our love life is played down. We're not seen as being the passionate, loving people that we are, and we love strong. We love hard, and that's what I write for. I write for African American, strong African American, independent women who are not afraid to ask for what they want, and that's one of the things that I like about writing romance. The other thing is I like for my romance novels to be an escape, especially in this climate where we are now. I write so that we can escape all the social ills, all the hustle and bustle of the everyday. And I feel like my stories are a reminder of the passion and the joy and the happily ever afters that we all want to experience. So that's my story.
Wow. So I know you're not an author by trade. So what made you get into writing?
Well, like I said, I've always loved to write. You're right. I originally started out as a preschool teacher. I love the little bitties. And then I started my business as a photographer. But it was, like I say, the pandemic. It shut down my photography business. And I've always loved to write. So once I started writing, once I was obedient and I started writing, then it just, I don't know, it's like that bug grabbed me, and I can't stop. I think even at this point, if I didn't publish, I would still continue to write just because I love to write. It's my expression. It's my way of expressing myself. And at this point, in terms of publishing, it's my legacy. I want my children to have that legacy. As African American people, we're storytellers, so I feel like I'm living up to the the legacy that was already out there in being a storyteller.
Wow. That's amazing. And I want to thank you for stopping by and sharing with us. Make
Absolutely.
sure you hang around because we're going to talk about some more. We're going to dive into some more of those books, how individuals can connect with you. And we're going to tap in on the conversation because of all the stuff that's happening right now. I really want people to hone in on the importance of what black literacy mean right now and
Hmm.
black literature and us having a voice and us being able to put these things out there and getting it before people because they're taking so much from us. So
Absolutely.
I definitely want you to hang around. I'm gonna
Okay.
bring up my next guest, and I'm gonna bring you back
All
so
right.
we can continue this conversation um as a panel. So I'm gonna
Gotcha.
bring my next guest up, Dr. Chin.
I feel really beautiful and great right now. I'm not sure what to follow with. I wish you asked me first because Sister Queen, not to Lee, kind of set a particular standard that I hope I can still just kind of roll with, just anchor with, because you have given us a wonderful array of what you bring and continue to bring in terms of your work as a literary artist, as a author, and especially when I heard the photography piece, and I said, okay, we're diversifying too. I said, this is powerful, powerful beyond measure. So it's an honor to be amongst such great persons that are willing to engage with this visionary, Sister Queen Angela, and all of the different elements of 100 authors to watch in 2025. And I won't limit it to 2025, I'll just say 100 authors to watch, period. Yeah, grateful. See,
Wow.
I can just keep it going. I'm listening and I'm anchoring because I just heard a lot, and I was sitting here taking notes. I brought a pen out, not just my laptop. I had to write. You brought
And
some
I
good.
know, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, I just told her to talk about herself, and I know she's not finna do that. So
Mm.
let me come on here so I can um guide her and to sharing tonight because y'all. When I tell y'all, a lady that wears many hats, a mother of six, a grandmother, a professor, a naturopath, um, and the list go on and on. And I cannot give her. I just can't do it right. So I don't even want to introduce her because I know I'll mess it up. You
No,
know, and
it's from your
so
heart though, sis. It's really important that how we engage with each other, especially through the space of being creative artists. Just what you said is enough because no one here is looking for my CV. I hope not. But if you do want to see that, that could be available via email. But that's not the nature of this way that we're engaging. We're sharing who we are, what we bring to the table, why our voices matter, and being a grandmother in of itself is just bringing truth to light because we're carrying on legacy. Being an author has been something that has always been part of my journey because I was always writing either for myself, learning to copy edit for other persons, serving as a journalist in my professional realm, teaching communications and media and technology, in an academic space. And so there's like a fusion. It's one thing to do writing for others or giving voice to others. But it's a different realm when you get to share it from your own space, from your own heart space. So I'm very grateful to be able to be a part of this. And as I've shared in the past, yes, I do things in the academic realm. I do a lot of work that is guided to humanitarian efforts, really helping people to help people to help people, right? I've had the honor and privilege of delivering hundreds of children naturally, usually in spaces that are not fully equipped with the traditional quote unquote maternity care, prenatal care, for our women folk, and really helping families to live well, to live naturally, irrespective of whatever liquid wealth, capital wealth that they might not have. So some of my work, that's where the naturopathic holistic element comes in, and not just here in the 48 contiguous US or even in the Caribbean Americas. A lot of my work does take me and keeps me doing work and giving and being participatory to efforts in the African continent. And it's not limited to a resurgence of the enslavement experience. It's always about how do we honor our women, our men, our children, our elders in these communities, regardless of some of the challenges and chaos that go forward. So a lot of my writing has been through a creative lens, whether it's to write plays that give, people can handle the story of some of the issues that have happened to people of African ancestry through a play, through a musical, through something that has a little humor in it, so that persons can at least take it a little lighter than the trauma that may be engaged. But it's still a teaching tool. So some of my publications have always been around writing prose that tell a legacy. For example, I did a piece called Queens of the Virgins. When I first wrote this particular publication, it was just called Three Queens of the Virgin Islands because it was literally the history and the legacy of the freedom fighting women of St. John, particularly Queen Brefu in 1733, an African woman that originally we thought came from West Africa in Ghana. We later found out that she was actually from a space in the interior, closer to what is now the Congo and parts of Angola, and connected to the Ndongo kingdom. She was captured, she was a freedom fighter, a warrior queen. When she was captured, she was brought again into Ghana, taken from Ghana, across the Atlantic into St. Thomas, our sister island where I'm sitting now from St. Croix. And they took her over to our smaller island where it was more controlled, they thought, in the 1730s, and specifically 1733 in the early parts of the year. And by November 23rd, this woman led a revolution that was one of the earlier revolutions of holding the island of St. John as an independent African nation, flag and everything. And they were able to hold on in the midst of enslavement. Because keep in mind, the Danish were enslaving, the Spanish were enslaving, the English were, it was a lot going on in those areas. And this freedom fighting woman, alongside other royals, they referred to them as Kanta and Claes, coming from other parts of the African continent. So I was writing this story, and when I was writing it, because you hear people talk about these things, but then it forced me to have to go not only into St. John and look at the archives that we have from Danish record, the academic side, and then go to Ghana and look at that record. That's how we found out that she was actually transported from the interior of Africa. So it was like I used my academic side alongside my creative side and created this play that allowed us to have the actress maintain character as if she was really her. They call them Chautauquas, right? So I did the same thing for women of the Revolution of Labor, the fire burn of 1878 in St. Croix, that was Queen Mary, and then the first successful nonviolent protests in St. Thomas, led by another woman, Queen Keziah. And so this piece was one of my early journeys into authorship because I was attempting to find a way to be able to tell stories in a creative way, but to make sure that it wasn't just like make believe, that it was grounded in authentic humanities and social science research and studies. And it allowed me to have another tool to use, another resource to use when I was teaching my students or my children or my grandchildren. And it ultimately has been expanded into a short film, which people are really trying to get me to produce as a full film. So my authorship is multi-pronged because some
And
of
I
it is
see.
very research based, and then some of it is creative. People don't.
And I see.
It's an opportunity
Mm-hmm.
for us to be able to bring another layer of the work together. So I'll use that one because there's other pieces. I mean, I really didn't want to focus just on my academic writing, especially after listening to Sister Queen Natalie. I better come with some diversity on
Well,
that.
I learned something new about you today that I didn't know. Playwright.
Oh, okay,
Hmm.
yeah, that's.
Yeah, you never disclosed that playwright. Mm-hmm.
I actually earned the
Over.
National Endowment for
Mm-hmm.
Humanities Award for that. Yeah. Mhm.
See,
Yeah.
another humanities award for a playwright, humanities award for poetry, and then you don't want me. See what I be talking about? See.
It's an
I
honor to
tell
be.
y'all have to know those that labor amongst you. Get to know those in your circle. Hint, hint. Woo! I didn't know you had all that in the suitcase, the backpack.
Backpack, small, small.
Mm-hmm. See, you disclosed something new. So now, while you sitting over there on the burner waiting to come back on. Yeah, let me see what I'm gonna be. Now I got to bring him up. See y'all. See what I y'all see what I be talking about. Okay. It's all fun. It's all fun. I love Dr. Chen. I didn't know that she was a playwright. See, I learned something. I'm telling y'all, I really learned something about this queen every time we get a chance to sit down. See, we don't often get a chance to really sit down and do this. So I am really enjoying this because most of the time I'm always the one that's behind the scenes, making sure that, they're getting seen and they're able to do this. So I'm enjoying this because I'm learning something new about a lot of these authors, a lot of these hosts, a lot of these amazing people. Like, thank you. Like, I'm so glad you said yes.
And we're
Yes.
grateful that you gave us an opportunity to be able to be in this type of collaboration. This is powerful. A lot of times we don't get an opportunity to have these types of cross pollination, this synergy
Yes.
amongst persons from different walks of life, different perspectives, various cultural traditions, and various backgrounds. And it gives us an opportunity to be able to expand and let the world see the type of greatness, the type of resilience, the type of creativity, and the power of prosperity, whether it's in culture, healing, arts, technology, spirituality, whatever area. So we're always appreciative of being able to bring this type of knowledge, not just knowledge, but wisdom. That's the word I was looking for, and really
Yes.
giving thanks, to the Almighty for being able to bring us in this type of fusion. I'm grateful.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Well, we're going to move on and bring up Mr. Zach, and we're going to bring you back in a little while. We're going to bring everybody together in a little while because, y'all, we're going to dive in this conversation. So hold on. I'll bring you right back. I'm going to bring you back as soon as I get Zach ready. I should have been getting him ready, but I was over here. I was see she caught me off guard because she was talking about something I ain't know nothing about, and I was over here listening and taking notes because I'm gonna be ready. Uh huh. Uh huh. That's okay. I don't know what happened to my other picture of Zach, but that's okay. I'm gonna bring him up on the red carpet. That's okay. I bring him up on the red carpet. That's
That's right.
okay. Come on in. Come on in, Zach.
You you want me to come behind that? You want me to come behind like that? Hey, listen, you were writing. I was taking notes in my phone. Listen, listen, listen. This just added more layers on top of layers. They like, oh, we gonna bring on Zach. You need to bring me on. Next time, I just sit here and just listen.
You got to tell everybody who you are, so I had to bring you on.
Listen, oh my God, thanks for having me, number one. So, my name is Zachary. I am from Charleston, South Carolina, the Geechee Gala place that you ever know. I am a poet first, writer second. So, the reason why I said that because I like to have people listen to what I have to say before I write it down. And I just want to capture the moment on people's faces and how their impact on my words. So that's why the reason why I said that first. And I got a book out there called Dear You Emotional Journey. And basically it's like a book called like it's you can say a therapy book for people who was reading it. It's all about heartbreaking, betrayal, loneliness. It got different sections in it. So the reason why I started writing this book because I was lost. I was lost, I was heartbroken, and I wanted to help somebody who feel the same way I feel. and I didn't know where to start at, where to directly like. I didn't have no clue. So one of my good friends said, "Just start writing. Just start writing. Start writing. Start writing. Start writing." And I started writing. Create this poetry book, and I was like, "How can I add something different for somebody who can read this?" So before you start reading different sections of the book, it's like a therapy. It's like, it asks you a bunch of questions before you read, and after you read each poem, it asks you a couple other questions afterwards. So it gets you really thinking who you are as a person. It gets you really thinking about your past or how you grow up or how people treated you, and it thinks of you in the present, and it thinks of you how you moving on the future. And just be in this movement is so amazing because I don't get this opportunity a lot. Like just being from my generation, I'm my part of Generation Z. We don't get this lot of invitation, and just to connect with different people around the world. So I'm very grateful for that, and and especially we are celebrating Black History Month. Like, well, we celebrate Black History Month like 36 every single day, but to have this moment and have this Black movement and showing that we can do anything we put our mind to.
Hmm.
That means we can write, we can speak, we can cook, we can clean, we can pick anything that we can do put our mind to. And for me, I chose to write. I chose to use my words in different ways that can help people down the way if they get stuck. So yeah. But like just having those two other ladies speak before me, I learned a lot just then. I really learned a lot. And like I'm saying, I'm gonna continue learning a lot during this conversation. Cause baby, like you said, I was just listening to her and I'm trying to write this thing down. Like, speak some more. Speak some more. We need this. Especially like my generation, we definitely need this. So yeah, that's a little bit something. That's a little bit something about me.
But we're gonna jump on in this conversation
Let's go.
because it is Black History Month, and with all that's going on, don't want to make it political, but with all that's going on, um, I DEI.
Oh gosh.
What? I want to know what that, and that just popped in my head. That was not one of the questions. I don't think that was one of the questions. But DEI, that's something that I've been seeing floating around all of the social media sites. What does that word mean to you guys? I'm gonna share before I go around and let you guys share what that means to you. Because when everybody kept talking about this, it was just like my spirit kept saying, huh, why is you even listening to that? Because you are divinely purposed. So you ain't got to worry about that. You And then if you say that you trust and you believe the word, then Jeremiah 29:11 sums it up. Because he already said
That
he declared that he had a plan for you. So we ain't even got to question that. So divinely purpose. So that's your D. And E, the E, what did he give me for the E? Oh, empowerment.
mm.
We as we empower ourselves, we empower those around us, and we be intentional. The things that he's called us to. According to Jeremiah 29:11, there's a plan. So if there's a plan, then guess what? Faith without works is dead. And that's what the word say.
There we go.
So the word say that we gotta be intentional about those things. So that's what y'all doing tonight. Y'all are being intentional about your legacy. You're being intentional about those things that you were purposed to do. that you know that you were called to do. So that's what I want to hear about. What does DEI mean to you? Because when they say it was being took away, it didn't phase me. So did it phase? Who did it phase on the panel? Did it phase anybody on the panel? It phased you.
It didn't quietly phase me. It phased like a lot of people around me, and it does affect a lot of people around me because those like DI opening doors for a lot of people. For to strip that away, and a lot of people lost their jobs, especially some of my friends that I know. It hurts because we can't not go in and be like, okay, this person could be better than us, and we don't even have a chance because they don't look like me. And just for him just to erase all that and just based off of merit, it is so wrong. Cause now it's setting me back and some of my friends like we don't have we it's like we can't compete in the room. And I know that's hard for saying that we have a chance, but for like think about it, we don't have a chance in the room. Cause we don't have people to look like us in the room. And I feel like we have to fight more to just even getting in the door. Not sitting down with them, just to even just like getting the door. That's even hard. So that's how I feel about DEI.
So while I'm talking to them, I want you to think about, because we share, and then we're at this point. So now what do we do about it? That I want you to think about. Now what?
So
Now what?
I'm going to follow up with you, Angela, on in the respect that if you say that you are a follower of Christ, you can't let this get to you because it's a depressing situation that we're going through. It's easy to get caught up in all the negativity, but you have got to stand on God's word that He has a plan and everything is going to work out for our good. So, Zachary, I hear you. It's affecting people around me, in the sense that people are losing their jobs. That is heartbreaking. That is absolutely heartbreaking because with everything being as high as it is already, people are barely making it now. So he's just made it that much harder. But we have got to stand on the word of God, and that's where I am. Because if I let myself get caught up, I'm gonna be depressed. I'm gonna be stressed, and that's not what God has for me. So that's where I am on the whole DEI thing.
I have a very similar perspective because of where I sit in the daytime, which is probably why many persons in my non Gen Z generation are in a stress mode. If you don't have strength in your spiritual groundings, some persons use that term faith, some persons use the term ma'at, some persons use that phrase that's really grounding to all that the Creator gives you. If you're not in a place of strength, and I'd like persons to recognize that all of these things that have happened to interfere with DEI, and for those in the back of the room, the diversity, equity, inclusion piece, this is something that we were doing as humans before they called it DEI.
Come on.
We already knew about balance and justice and righteousness and order. And it wasn't just equality, because equality isn't always the quest. It was so that persons would have that equitable distribution of wealth, that equitable distribution of education, that equitable distribution of belonging, right? Because what is happening now is another form, and I speak truth to power when I say this, but it's a very, very deep form of trauma,
Mm.
very deep form of an institutional,
Hmm.
intentional enslavement of our very body, mind, soul, spirit, and consciousness if we let it do that.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
The more that we keep ourselves grounded, as you've shared in that word and that journey, that tribe, that walk of Christ, you say Christ, I say Christ, right? Some people
Mhm.
say Yeshua. So, there's like the names, but the essence is that we are walking in divine light, protected by a creator that keeps illumination at the center of our protection. And if we forget that, which is easy to forget because you can't afford to buy food, you have to choose between
Mhm.
buying medication, sending the children with the resources they need to attend school, or
Mhm.
pay rent, or which bill will you delete? Will it be the cable, which is easy to let go, but
Yeah.
like things like electricity, clean water, your sewage, your waste management issues, and rent and lease or mortgage or whatever. If you're worried about just existing in your day to day, it becomes very challenging to then deal with this next trauma and this next chaos where persons are questioning the very rights, human rights, inalienable rights that we as people of African descent, and I'm going to keep coming back to that. I'm so grateful that we're doing this during the quote unquote banned Black History
Mhm.
Month. How you going to ban something you didn't start?
There we
That
go.
part.
Exactly.
That
How you,
part.
how you going, what
That
kind of authority? And again, yes, you sit in that POTUS chair and you have some armor bearers that support you, but you don't have the authority, the right, and you should not exercise such a privilege and a protocol to dismantle something that preceded you by decades and scores, right? And I think it's a disregard to the very humanity of our communities, of our families. This is to what else can we do to dismantle the families of African
Mhm.
people? We done enslaved them. Okay, they survived that. All right, we don't mash them up. Okay, they survived that. All right, we don't interfere with their formulation of their spiritual, religious engagements. Okay, but they survived that too. Wait, we take all their money. They survived that too. Wait, we didn't give them land. We thieved their land. We still thieving their land and bulldozing people's homes in places like Costa Rica as we speak to black people, mind you. Eh? And then you saying you want to take over the Panama Canal in 2025. Saying, but you're worrying about a while. You worrying about a while. Anyway, I could, and it's not because I could do this one. It's not political. It's just the truth of how do
Mhm.
we restore our humanity. We are, and then to then aggravate things in the African continent in places where there was a quest for peace. You see people trying to get over very hostile, very terrorist driven activities. When you see them starting to put the creator and the word of the creator at the center of establishing peace, you're going to still throw another set of bombs and trauma at them? That's like, that's no longer human.
Mm.
Yeah. So
I
I,
100%
yeah,
agree.
yeah, I tend to see that DEI piece. That's just one of them, but it's the
One.
DEI, the land theft, the if you say anything that's anti-Semitic. What about anything that's anti-African? If you're going to talk about we can't say nothing about Israel and genocide, then you should be saying we don't appreciate genocide anywhere. How about that? Like you should be consistent. You can't just pick one over the other. You can't just pick
There we
up
go.
all the black and brown people and say that they supposed to be deported, and some of them never ever live in the places that you deported them to. Like
Mm.
the one in this country called the U.S. That means you should stop singing the Pledge of Allegiance. You should stop talking about liberty, freedom, and justice for all. You should just smash down this little constitution. You keep making people think that you amend, and now you're trying to take away the amendments to a document that you said allowed you to be in the position you're in. So I'm just suggesting strongly. I usually don't bring these particular things up because people, it becomes, very challenging to some. But when we are authors, when we are those that put pen to paper,
Mhm.
it's our responsibility to bring truth to power. and to keep the word, as you say, of God, I say of Netarah, of the word of the Creator, at the center of what we're bringing to the table, so that that way, even when people read what we write, they still have not just hope, not just faith, but they have like a lifelong, eternal resolve that what they doing over there, that's the distraction. Lead them over some. You know how you say Satan not today?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You know how you say, what was
Right.
it? The wicked arrow go back to sender? That one. I'll yield on that one.
Wow.
You said everything correct, baby.
You did. You nailed
I'm
it.
just like, I mean, you nailed it. You hit everything on
Yes.
the head. I mean, you did that. And just thinking, like, I sent out some questions that I may ask, and just sitting here looking at the questions, I was like, man, this man is wiping away everything. One of the questions was reflected on legacy left by prominent figures in Black history. How do you envision your work contributing to broaden the narrative that they've left, like Martin Luther King,
Mhm.
like um all those that have come before us, that they are now wanting to wipe away with the wiping away of the civil rights. I
Mhm.
mean, what I mean, what more than a slap in the face to all of us, you know, and even the ones of us that look like us that voted for this man.
Mm,
You
mm.
know, it's so many that and proudly voted for him. You know, they
Mm-mm.
proudly voted for him,
Proudly.
and
Proud.
and 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 now it's like a slap in the face, because now he's slapping you. He like going left and right in your face, telling you that he don't care when he
He
already
don't.
done told you before, but you still voted for him.
Right.
So I want to know how important is being an author right now in this season for y'all. What is that? I mean, being an author right now in that season, and having all this stuff that's going on. How important is being an author and being able to leave your voice to y'all?
It's the ultimate. I mean, he may be wiping away what's on paper, but what's in our heart and in our spirit, he can't touch that.
Exactly.
So when we put that on paper and we get it out to the world, we pass that on to our children, then there's nothing he can do. He can talk, but he cannot crush what's inside of us.
Right. I echo that because there's a lot that is being shared from, and it's intergenerational sharing. And there's some elders that are just so overwhelmed. Like I was sharing that with one of my family members earlier today. There's just some persons, you see them at services, you have certain fellowship with them, and it's almost like a despondence. And this was intentional to if we can't break their spirit, then we're going to break their bank. We're going to threaten it if you say the wrong thing, if you write the wrong thing, if you express what we say, whoever we is, because it's not just him. Like one of the things that's, how they like to say that this is the lead on, this is the person of source. I want to make sure I say this in the most diplomatic way possible. He doesn't possess the skill, talent, or expertise to be the formulator of many of the things he's doing. There's an entire institutional machinery,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
multiple persons that
Definitely.
facilitate and allow that headpiece that sits in that POTUS chair to appear XYZ. So I want to give some disclosure. I have, like all of us, we have family members that were out there supporting that party. Have, a matter of fact, it created hostility inside of our bloodlines in a way that was really unprecedented for many, because we were like, but why are you questioning democracy, forgetting that to some people, not all, but to some people, democracy has been being challenged, not just with him, but before him.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of challenges on what is this authentic democratic policy, principle, etc. And through our writing, the more that we start to assess, give that narrative, offer perspective on What is democracy really?
Mhm.
What is capitalism really? What is imperialism really? And what is things like, various policies, Zionism, apartheid, all these different ism thingies that came up. Notice that none of the things I mentioned were grounded in what we started with is a way of us healing ourselves through spiritual acuity, strengthening our knowledge base in the creator, right? If we just stayed on that space, we would probably not, we would see these things happening. We've had crazy people in the POTUS chair before. This isn't the first time. It's just that it's like we're seeing it live and direct, and it's like a slideshow. You look at the whitehouse.gov website, in the past you saw activities that were going to happen and proclamations from previous presidents and so forth. Now it's just like a slideshow of the me by me. I was in 12 hours. We watched an entire website just get turned to some kind of like Facebook X media show, in contrast to helping the people in the United States be aware and clear of the activities of the executive branch, the judicial branch, and the legislative
Mhm.
branch. All of that changed. And that's okay because it's their time to shine. This is who the majority of the electorate in the country chose.
Mhm.
And so
So they say.
yeah, and see now I get to claim a little bit of a, and I have to give that disclaimer too. Although I reside in a unincorporated, non self governing territory, make sure you hear what I'm saying, of the United States, real word colony, in 2025, in the most expensive real estate per acre that the United States of America ever purchased. I just want to highlight that in these Virgin Islands, $25 million, not in dollar money, not in fiat, in gold in 1916. The purchase took place. 1917, the actual activity happened, right? And people still celebrate this. So we don't get to vote for the president of the United States.
Wow.
But selective registration, our people are in the military and have to support whatever the sitting president desires. Just a point of information.
Yeah.
Have a
And
representative in Congress, right? And she's doing what is in her best, and she's trained and skilled for that position. Yeah, but she cannot vote on the U.S. congressional floor.
oh wow.
Just want to
And I
highlight that,
and
right?
just to add on top of that, I think as an author, it's our duty to make sure we get our messages across
Exactly,
and
exactly.
being intentional
That's
what
right.
we mean. And
Exactly.
even with this society, even with all the stuff that goes on around, like especially January, I feel like January was the longest month I ever been in. But we just can't get sidetracked as what's really important. And I think a lot of people like us, we get sidetracked like, oh, this happened, or that happened. We have to main focus. We have to main like what is important to us.
That's
And
right.
as writers, when we put things on paper, we have to be intentional what we are doing and who we are reaching to. Like I said, like, yeah, Black History just this one month, but I said Black History is every single day.
That's right. We have a hashtag
365 days,
365 24/7.
And like
24/7,
Absolutely.
That's right.
365.
That's
and
right.
we can't not forget that. Like, even
Right.
like for me, I want to pass the baton to my next generation who's going to be in front of me to be like, hey, keep writing. Don't
Right.
let this stop you. Because before me, there was a lot of great writers who passed the baton to me. And I want to pass the baton to you. And I want you to keep writing. Don't stop because they are taking away so many rights or so many laws or banning whatever he's doing that he's think is he fit.
Yeah, they started by taking little books out of here, taking little books out of there,
You
out of
can
this,
do
and
that, but you
taking
can
little
never take
taking
the
classes out
stories. You
and
can never take the stories
taking
that
out. So they took in cursive writing out, so children don't know how to sign their names no more.
Oh
Right.
gosh.
They took social studies out, so kids don't know where they going. They just out here just riding, just going. If they say it's north, you could be going south because they don't know, because they don't took everything out, and they don't lied and told us that this is this and this is that, and then you go and you find, you research it yourself. It's totally different from what they don't told you.
Girl,
And
they
then
call it woke.
now they want to tell you that we came from some apes and chains, and you don't want to give the real history to our kids because you say it's causing y'all kids trauma. But what about the trauma that we that we was caused, that this happened to us? So what
And
about
it,
the trauma we endured?
hmm
But
and
then
it,
you don't want
hmm
to to you want to take everything away from our kids. You don't want our kids to know their history because it's causing trauma to the ones that caused the trauma. I don't get that.
I think for that, and just to, I think it's our responsibility, right? Even though
Oh
they
yeah, that.
move the books and everything outside the classroom, it's our responsibility to tell our history
Yeah.
and what we learn. Like it's our responsibility to, like I said, pass the baton. Like the race, the history is never erased. Like you can write all these, they could burn all the books down in the world, take it out, whatever they could do with it. But like I said, it's our responsibilities to
Yeah.
tell the story before us.
It's our responsibility to make sure that our kids are being educated because it's not happening within the school system.
Definitely
That's
That
not
one.
what the school system was
That one.
designed for. The
That one.
school system, if and I look back over all the all the years that I went to school, and I was wondering, like, they never taught us anything but how to go and work in somebody's job. That's
not.
all they was developing us to go work in plants and mills in my area. I'm gonna say my area because I'm from a place where everybody, I could say all my family, because that's where everybody at. I'm outside of the norm because I didn't do it. I said I wasn't gonna do it, and I stepped outside and I didn't. But everybody else, they retiring from these plants, and they want to go see which plant they can go work in to make the most, and it's the which one you can get in. I mean, that's the BMW, Volvo, all the Fortune 500 companies. These are the plants that they trying to get in my area. But I was not competing for that. But that's what they teach our kids, and they're not teaching our kids how to be entrepreneurs.
Mm,
They're not teaching them how to invest. They're not teaching them how to do nothing but to
be
fulfill
lazy.
somebody else's
To,
dream,
to
to
be
to
lazy.
to help somebody else chase their dream and
Mm-hmm.
not chase their own dream. That's what they're teaching our kids.
And
That
that's
that's that
why
that's
it's
what I
important.
have
Right.
that's what I've observed. Now what
That's
have you observed?
see, I've seen. Okay, I always start with the area of disclosure. So I was very fortunate to have parents that used to let me loose in libraries and let me read everything in the children's section until I got bored, and they would grant me permission to go into certain sections because it was some trash in the adult section. So my parents were very particular on what I was allowed to read, etc. But they gave me things, and I like to go back to the piece on the children and what our responsibility is to teach them. And hence, you have parents like myself. I do not homeschool my grandchildren yet, but I homeschooled my birth children
Mm,
because I knew that there were certain things that were going to be challenging for them in a public or even a private school setting, right? But even in a limited small space. It's only 84 square miles, the island of St. Croix. So we're very small. And I knew that there was going to be some issues, but that didn't mean that I didn't give them that opportunity to be able to socialize. Those that know my children, they're probably more social than they need to be, but that I've been able to help other families to know how to engage with homeschooling. We started a Virgin Islands Homeschooling and Natural Educators Association so that parents that were homeschooling would actually be more proficient and have the support from educators to help educate our children in the areas. Some of our families were Muslim, so they didn't have a Muslim school at that time here. Once they got that, then many of them moved into that. Some of our children are part of the Rastafari community, and it was a challenge for them. There were times where children that had locks, even now, they couldn't go to public or even private schools, right? So we had to find ways to assist them. And the content, like I tell persons, I'm not interested in doing a Eurocentric form of education for children that are African ascendants, right? We have to give them a very wholesome, a very wide, a very global type of education. You can't use the British infantry system and think it's going to educate. Those systems were not designed to educate our children. And that's something that we tend to overlook. So I wanted to come back to this, what we now know is the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, which used to be the Negro, the Association for the Study of Negro Life, et cetera, et cetera. These are the things that Dr. Carter G. Woodson, the founding formulator of Black history, at one point it was Negro History Week, then it became Negro History Month, then it expanded into various associations. It wasn't only the Black History Month, the designation that he should be remembered for. It wasn't only his publication, The Miseducation of the Negro. He was about Black people publishing. So for us to be sitting here talking about authors and authorship during Black History Month, we're doing exactly what our forefathers and great achievers like Dr. Carter G. Woodson formulated way back in the early parts of the 20th century. And it's our responsibility to add that layer of how we engage, how we compose, how we publish, how we distribute, how we market, how do we give our own entrepreneurial twang or niche, whatever, your technique, your strategy to this entire movement. So that our authorship, that persons not only are going to look for what we're producing, not that they're going to just criticize it, they will critique, but they're going to benefit and assist us in getting that message, these messages, plural, out. Whether it's a romantic novel, whether it's a self help book, whether it's a historical publication, whether it's a play, whatever we produce, we are creating a pathway for persons to really engage and support this level of excellence, this level of edification, not just education and not just schooling, but edification, where we're helping people to invoke and evoke the levels of excellence that take us into these future generations, regardless if it's Gen Z, Gen old, millennial, whatever. Yeah, yeah. I think I can yield there.
Like I said, girl, I'm taking notes over here, like what she's saying.
I'm gonna send you what I'm reading from. That's how we do. There's a technique to a lot of this because I mean, we would, as we're speaking, it's just making me remember persons like Dr. Asa Hilliard III. May he rest in peace and his name be honored whenever it's spoken, because he spoke to this. He wrote curricula and publications and handbooks, and see, that's what many people are starting to glean from. So even though this chaos in the midst of the body politic really is designed to traumatize and make everybody become so despondent that they don't function, we have to fast from that and move with that focus into what we know and have been ordained to implement and make it so that we have actionable deliverables that benefit us. So that's another element of this authorship, whatever everybody's writing. And it could be funny stuff. I guess it could be animation, whatever. The whole idea is each portion is adding to the pool. It's like a laser beam of light in terms of what persons are going to be producing and bringing out. And for that, I keep saying thank you, Sister Queen Angela, because not everyone is comfortable pulling together like that. Some persons, I don't know if I want to write with she. I don't know if I want to do them kind of thing. I don't have time to do, and we just do what is it? Procrastination. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this is forcing the hand of all of us to like you said, work together, communicate within our groups, outside of our groups, the group leaders, persons that, for me, sometimes I have a spurt and I'm writing like all the time, every day, nonstop. And then there's times where it just slows down and I just go swimming and scuba diving to get my balance, right? And other people do other things. But whatever that is, if we keep our energy and our focus on what is the great outcome of this movement of authoring work that is of a quality that actually helps and saves some people, oh, then we've done our charge, and I
There we
think our
go.
outcome is great.
Wow.
Absolutely, I agree.
Well, I want to go around the room because we've been dropping some nuggets tonight, and I want everybody to be able to connect with you guys and be able to support your platforms and all of that good stuff. So I'm going to start with Dr. Chen. How can we connect with you, stay connected with you, follow you, support you?
I am honored. One of the fastest ways is by looking for Chinzira, Chenz as in Z, Ira, Kahina, and I'm on virtually all social media, probably except X, right? And that way you can find out some of the things that I'm engaged in and the projects. You can also go to my YouTube page, which is Ast Speaks, Aspeaks, again, AST, Speaks, Speaks. And that way you can see some of the videos and media that I've been involved in some of the lectures, workshops, presentations, dance shows. Sometimes we just have like I like to DJ, but I just like to DJ like the music I like. And I have my own personal party, and I just invite people to come to my personal party. So that's another option. And then if persons would like to know more direct kind of conversations, then I encourage you to email me at astspeaks, ASTSPEAKS, at gmail.com, or perunk, PERANKH, perunk at me.com. And perunk simply means house of life. So you have a variety of ways of reaching me. And always look at whatever's going on around the visionary Sister Queen Angela. She be pulling us in.
Pulling us in. Left
Right.
there.
First and third. I got to remember that. Right. The Crew podcast. The Crew podcast. My broadcast is the first and third Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time within the Crew Podcast Network. You have a variety of ways to reach me. Give thanks.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
And if you did not get that, you always can reach out to me. Miss Natalie, how can we
Yes.
follow, support, and connect with you?
Okay. Well, you can follow me on Instagram at Natalie R. Murphy Author. I also have Natalie R. Murphy Author on Facebook. That page, if you're looking for tips on writing and self-publishing, then that's the page you want to follow because I self-published all of my books. I've
Hey.
also created a workshop to teach people how to self-publish. And to date, I started it about a year ago. I have 5 authors who have completed the process, who have published their books. 2 are Distinguished Authors Guild um, winners. So I'm very proud of that. You can also reach me if you want to follow my romance writing journey with some fun stuff at Make Room for Romance on
Ooh.
Facebook. Yes, make room for romance, and then you can also contact me on my website. You can also see all the books that I've written. If you like hot and steamy, I got you. It's my website is natsbooks.net. That's NATSBOOKS. Yes, Zachary, you will need to take your glasses off for some of these.
No, see, you saw me, right? We did the same. We just went like off. I said,
Right.
what's up? Start fanning.
But and you really gonna fan. Now this one, this is my new release. This is Make Room for Romance, a
Mhm.
flirty guide to passion and play. And it gives all kinds of tips. So let me ask y'all this. Did y'all know that June 9th is 6-9 day?
Yeah. Should I have
Oh, oh.
admitted that in broadcast? I'm just wondering.
I already put it out there. So, and the Sunday after Thanksgiving is Thanksgiving. I
Mm,
got all this kind of stuff in my book. If you
okay.
want to spice up this Valentine's Day or your love life in general, hit me up on my website, netsbooks.net. I got you.
Keeping it
We can do
real.
this right now. We can do this
Hey!
right
Keeping
now.
it real. Woo, where's my fan? Woo, I'm gonna have to get. Woo, wait a second. Woo,
Zachary,
woo, woo,
Listen,
can
woo.
you compose yourself just a little a while to tell everybody how to follow you?
Oh my. Oh. Oh.
oh,
I think Zachary gone.
You saw I went and got my fan. All right, I'm good now.
oh, God. Good. Just learning new things.
Mm,
Learning new things. I need to
mm.
go check it out. See, ain't nothing wrong keeping it spicy.
Woo.
Absolutely. I haven't been married 38 years for nothing.
Okay then. Okay then.
You
Experience.
let me right there.
Yes, ma'am.
Give thanks. Give thanks.
Okay,
Oh
now.
gosh. All right. So for me, I am all over social media. I am Zachary Matthews Wans. You can find me on Instagram. It's the same thing on Snapchat, TikTok, Zach Attack with 1T96. I also do have two broadcasts. My first broadcast is called Just Two of Us. It's on all social media. Just and also I got a new broadcast starting on Beverly Nation radio host intern show. And it's called The Black Canvas. It will be February the 18th at 9:30 live. And you know your special guest is you all. So check me out. I am so grateful for that opportunity. And like I said, you can find me anywhere. If you need to ask me a personal question, I'm always willing to help a hand. I love to connect with other authors, collab with other authors. I am eager to learn from each other in this movement that she had created. And definitely that I'm gonna check the spicy thing out because Miss over
So,
here.
Zachary, I'm gonna tell you, the current book that I'm writing, the main male character, his name is Zachary.
Mm.
Should not put you in the Tory. Well, so, right. Hold that crown. Hold that crown. Let's tilt it to the right.
Let's see.
Oh,
But now, I'm also going to say for both of you all, I would love for you all to check out the Distinguished Authors Guild. You there, it's a world of wealth of information. There's a book contest. You can enter your books into the contest. The They end the year with a gala
Ooh.
in November. So
mm,
it's a real it's the real deal. It's a platform for African American authors, and that's why I really love it. And they promote you. They put your books out there in front of other eyes that you have not been able to get a hold to.
And
So check them out on Facebook.
speaking of that, like I said, I am writing my new book this year. It's very let's do with trauma, abuse, stalker. It's like different smaller stories about different people that I met throughout life, and just have that in one book is going to be phenomenal. And I think it's definitely where I'm very proud of writing. That I'm just very every time I write it, every time I hear the story, it's very emotional. So
Mm.
just stay tuned to that and more information coming soon.
Much success to you.
Thank you.
much success. Much success.
No success for y'all. Like let's
No, this is an our thing. This is a we thing. This ain't just
Right.
some them
listen,
thing. This is Alawi.
just to
We have a
be
saying. Yeah,
just
Alawi. We
to
have a
be
saying here in the Caribbean. We
yeah,
say
just to
Alawi.
be
Yeah,
in
Alawi.
the
Yeah.
room with amazing people and just open up doors for people you have not met in the world
Absolutely.
and just
Absolutely.
connect And like she said a few minutes ago, people miss the opportunity like this. And I think for me, I was like, when I got the opportunity, I'm like, I'm gonna hop on, I'm gonna connect, I'm gonna network. Cause I want to be known. I want to know other people's story. I want to know other people's backgrounds. So to help me further my education and improve my writing skills and improve my knowledge on certain things I didn't know of that's out there. So that is definitely, I'm very grateful to be in this movement.
Yeah.
Well, we're grateful to have you. So I definitely want to thank I want to thank all three of you guys for stopping and sharing with us on tonight. I know it's not always easy to stop and share, and I know that you guys are busy. So definitely thank you for sharing your perspective and really chiming in tonight and joining in on the conversation. I truly, truly appreciate it. Um, again, before we leave, I always like for my guests to share something inspirational, something encouraging for those that are tuned in that will draw those listeners to you. I'm going to start with Zachary. I want you to share something inspirational, something encouraging that somebody that may be listening in that they may be struggling, they may want to write a book, may not know what to do, but they may have tuned in and heard something tonight that have inspired them or they've heard a nugget. So I want you to drop something in their spirit that would encourage them to stay on this journey.
Like I always say, you are the voice. And that means stand up for what you believe in, stand up for you being who, stand up for other people. You are the voice. You are the voice that stand up for other people who don't have a voice. Don't let nobody in the world define who you are at the end of the day. Like I said, if one door closed, another one gonna open. And when you get in that door, make sure all eyes on you because you are the voice. And I'm gonna leave that with my people.
Thank you. Natalie, can you share something, please?
Absolutely. So I have two phrases that I love. The first one I heard from Joyce Myers. She said, "Do it scared,"
Oh,
because their fear is there. Fear is there. There when some we encounter something new and we're not used to it, we don't know what to expect, we tend to back down. So whatever it is in your heart that you want to do it scared. My second one is, and I just heard this, and I don't remember who said it, but they said just Nike that thing.
ooh,
And that's just another way of saying just do it. Because if you don't, had I not decided to stop trying to fight with God and give him all the reasons that I had for not writing a book, I would not be a multi award winning romance writer. I wouldn't have a workshop where I teach other people to be award winning writers. So, whatever it is that God has put on your heart to do, Nike that thing.
period.
Good one.
Wow. Dr. Chin?
Make sure that you know yourself for the greatest and highest good and follow that path that you've been blessed with, that you've been ordained with, that you've been anointed with, and carry it as far for generations upon generations. Of course, with the blessings of the Most High Mother, Father, Creator. And do it well, and do it with excellence, and keep it moving. Any obstacle, that's not for you, that's only a distraction. And always remember, know yourself for the greatest and highest good.
I hope, I hope you guys on tonight, because I tell you, I truly have been blessed by these amazing authors that decided to stop by and share just a little bit about their journey and why they chose authorship and how they are creating and leaving a legacy. I hope that you will follow them, support them. If they have books out, that you will go over and purchase a book from their website. Leave a review. Share your thoughts, your perspective of some of their writings to give them some feedback on this journey that they're on, because they're sharing from their heart and they're sharing from their soul. Bits and pieces of them. They're leaving and creating a legacy. I want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight and sharing just a little bit with us. We'll be back in 2 weeks on February the 16th. Same time, same space. We're going to be back showcasing some more authors that are doing the same thing. They're deciding to allow their words to speak through the pen, and they're putting their pen to paper. So join me February the 16th, 6 to 8 p.m., right here as we continue to celebrate these amazing Black and brown authors from around the world. Y'all, I will see y'all then. Y'all have a great evening. Good night.